The watch is up right now as we come on as a wall of severe weather moves across the U.S. More than a dozen states in the path. Forecasters warning Tornado Alley is about to get hit. Dangerous winds, blinding rain, and Rob Marciano times it out. The horrific scene tonight, police before the cameras just moments ago. Authorities calling it unspeakable. The young pregnant mother strangled, her unborn baby stolen. That baby now struggling to survive, and what police have just revealed. Also tonight, another state, this time Missouri, the Senate passing a strict anti-abortion law just 24 hours after Alabama effectively outlawed abortion. Tonight, even some conservatives now arguing this has gone too far. The showdown with Iran. The president is asked today, is the U.S. going to war with Iran? Martha Raddatz standing by with the president's answer. The deputy under fire for a case of mistaken identity, trying to arrest a black man in his own front yard, believing he was a fugitive. He was not. What can be heard in the audio? The remarkable new images tonight, the 22-month-old lost in the woods since Mother's Day. What he asked for when authorities found him. The ABC News exclusive tonight, the notorious drug cartel taking advantage of impoverished Americans, what they are getting them to do. Dan Harris tonight on the border for the bust. Tonight, Walmart now says some prices are going up and they give their reason. And the major change for the SATs, what they will now take into account.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening. It's great to have you with us here on a very busy Thursday night. We have a lot to get to, but we're going to begin tonight with the watches up right now, that wall of severe storms moving across the country. 40 million Americans in 16 states bracing for this. The thundering sound of giant hail right there in Hazleton, North Dakota already. Driving rain for the evening commute in St. John, Indiana. And in a sign that they do not need yet another round of this, look at this, the collapsing dam in Dunlap Lake, Texas. But the storms are coming more than a dozen states, as I said, as this moves west to east tonight. Let's get right to meteorologist Rob Marciano leading us off with the track. Rob?
David, this is a powerful storm moving through the west right now, and it's going to cause some dangerous conditions over the weekend. Right now, though, we do have a tornado watch out for Illinois and Indiana, even a tornado warning just southwest of Indianapolis. That's heading towards Cincinnati. But the big show's coming with this storm now in the Intermountain West. 1 to 2 feet of snow. This is like a winter storm with wind advisories. It gets into the plains tomorrow, taps that Gulf of Mexico moisture. And here comes Tornado Alley from Rio Grande all the way up into Minnesota. Dangerous storms tomorrow. Big hail, big wind, likely some tornadoes. Dallas, you get it tomorrow night into parts of St. Louis, and then Chicago, I think, late Saturday into Sunday. And that, of course, that does move to the east. And right behind that is another system for next week. David?
Tracking it all for us, Rob. Thank you. Next tonight to the growing battle over abortion tonight. Another state in the news, this time Missouri, where the Senate there has passed a very strict abortion bill, and it comes after Alabama virtually banned all abortions. The governor there signing that bill 24 hours ago. But tonight, even some conservatives say this might be a step too far. Mary Bruce on the Hill tonight.
For the second day in a row, a state taking sweeping new action to eliminate abortions.
The time of choice is the time of conception, not after conception.
Early this morning, Missouri lawmakers agreed to ban most abortions after 8 weeks, even if the pregnancy is caused by rape or incest. Doctors would face prison time, the governor promising to sign it into law.
I am honored to lead a state standing here today with many of my colleagues and with so many others who are committed to standing up for those without a voice.
Just hours earlier, Alabama Governor Kay Ivey signed a near total ban on abortion, imposing 99-year prison sentences on doctors. The only exception if the mother's life is in danger. In the Alabama State House, an opponent of the bill pressed a supporter on why that's the only exception and got a puzzling answer.
Does the bill make exception for patients who are victim of rape? And of course, I kind of know the answer. Can you tell me why it doesn't?
It allows for anything that's available today is still available up until that woman knows she's pregnant.
The Alabama decision has jolted the national debate over abortion rights.
I don't want to be a fearmonger, but I do believe that they're trying to go on a path that will totally dismantle Roe v. Wade, and we have to be vigilant and express our concerns on this. legislatively and at the grassroots level.
Even the top Republican in the House says the bill goes too far.
But in my whole political career, I also believed in rape, incest, or life of the mother. There was exceptions. That's exactly what Republicans have voted on in this House.
But the bill's sponsors have a clear goal. They want this challenged before the U.S. Supreme Court.
My goal with this bill, and I think all of our goal, is to have Roe versus Wade turned over.
But even televangelist Pat Robertson, who shares that same goal, worries the Alabama bill is too extreme to make it to the highest court in the land.
It's an extreme law, and they want to challenge Roe versus Wade. But my humble view is that this is not the case we want to bring to the Supreme Court, because I think this one will lose.
Mary Bruce with us live tonight from the Hill. And Mary, legal scholars have said that the conservative-leaning Supreme Court under Chief Justice Roberts has seemed more inclined to try to chip away at Roe v. Wade rather than overturn it outright. And that's led some conservatives to say that this new Alabama law may actually hurt their cause.
Yeah, David, there is a real divide here in the anti-abortion community over how to challenge this in the court. Some worry that these sweeping bans, like the law in Alabama, may simply be too extreme for this court to even take up. And there are several more measured state laws that they might be more inclined to take up instead. David.
Mary Bruce with us again tonight. Thank you, Mary. Now the conference held just a short time ago. News conference, police revealing the horror tonight. A young pregnant mother targeted, her unborn baby stolen. Her family says she communicated with a woman through Facebook for free baby clothes. The mother did not survive. The baby is fighting for his life tonight. And ABC's Alex Perez is in Chicago.
Tonight, a chilling crime in Chicago. Police say pregnant 19-year-old Marlene Ochoa Lopez was brutally murdered and her unborn child then forcibly taken from her body. Tonight, 3 suspects under arrest.
Words really cannot express how disgusting and thoroughly disturbing these allegations are.
Ochoa Lopez was 9 months pregnant. Family members say 3 weeks ago she communicated with a woman on Facebook for some free baby clothes and then vanished. Later that same day, paramedics racing to this home after a 46-year-old woman claimed to have just given birth.
The baby isn't breathing. The baby is pale and blue. They're doing CPR.
That newborn, police now say it was actually Ochoa Lopez's baby. That young mother's body found yesterday at that home.
I just don't get and understand how you can harm such a young, beautiful person.
The 46-year-old woman and 2 other people now in custody. Ochoa Lopez's family devastated. That newborn in grave condition. His heartbroken father asking everyone to pray for his little angel. And David, those 3 people charged, the mother and daughter charged with first-degree murder, and that mother's boyfriend charged with trying to conceal the crime. David?
Just a horrific story, Alex. Thank you. We turn now to the deputy under fire tonight for a case of mistaken identity, trying to arrest a black man in his own front yard, believing he was a fugitive. He was not. His wife was right there recording it all, and what you can hear in the audio. ABC's Marcus Moore is in Texas tonight.
He don't even know my name and tell him I have a warrant.
Clarence Evans says he was racially profiled by Houston area police. He was playing with his kids and dog in front of his home when the officer you see in the video told him there was a felony warrant for his arrest in Louisiana. The officer calling Clarence Quentin.
I thought it was a joke at first. Thought it was a prank or something.
His name is not Quentin.
You just talked in front of my house. Yes, I know who you are. It's what's my name? Showing him my ID wouldn't have helped. He had it set in his mind that I was Quentin. Just walk with me. Walk with me.
He's not going nowhere. He's not going nowhere.
After several minutes, another deputy arrives, and they show Evans a photo of the man they're looking for.
Put your phone on me for this. Okay. Right here? We're good? Okay. Here's the deal. Doesn't that look a lot like you? No, don't look like me. He looked like he was in his mid-50s, early 60s. The only thing we had in common was dreads and skin complexion.
David, officials tell us this was handled correctly and that the deputy was responding to a report of a fugitive in the area. Meantime, Evans has hired an attorney. David?
Marcus Moore tonight. Marcus, thank you. And tonight, President Trump was asked today amid the growing tensions with Iran, are we going to war with Iran? How he answered. And here's ABC's chief global affairs correspondent, Martha Raddatz, tonight.
Today, with the U.S. carrier strike group now in the Arabian Sea and bombers at the ready, the president was asked directly.
President, are we going to war with Iran?
But with the the evacuation of personnel from the American embassy in Iraq and the sabotage of 4 oil tankers for which U.S. officials say Iranian operatives are to blame, Congress wants answers. Today, the Director of National Intelligence, Dan Coates, holding a classified briefing for leadership in the House and Senate, with members saying it was an important first step. The full House and Senate will be briefed next week. The administration also working to declassify some of the most troubling intelligence. An official tells ABC News there are images which show Iranian cruise missiles on small Iranian boats in the port city of Chabahar. Missiles officials feared could be used to attack ships or land targets.
And Martha Raddatz with us now tonight. And Martha, we hear the president there says he hopes we don't go to war. What are your sources telling you tonight?
Well, David, a senior U.S. official tells me that the president truly does not want to go to war with Iran. He is hoping Iranians will instead meet with the U.S. team, but the Iranians have shown no sign they want to do that. David?
Martha Raddatz with us again tonight. Thank you, Martha. And we turn next here to new images this evening after that amazing story of survival from Kentucky. A 22-month-old boy missing since Mother's Day was rescued from a ledge. And what he asked for when he was found. ABC's TJ Holmes is in Kentucky for us.
Tonight, inside the miracle rescue of that Kentucky toddler, new images of little Kenneth Howard just moments after searchers found him on a 50-foot cliff. The boy found barefoot, wet, and cold.
We gave him some Gatorade, and he chugged a Gatorade. So he wanted a second one. They gave him a second one. He chugged the second one. Then he went to a Powerade. So we slowed him down a little bit.
For 3 days, this community prayed. Crews searching these dense woods until they heard that cry.
All you see is a little blonde head with blue eyes that you was expecting not to be alive, and he was alive, screaming at you. That's something that hits the heart.
Little Kenneth airlifted to the hospital where he's eating on his own tonight and is expected to make a full recovery.
How in the world does a 22-month-old navigate this terrain?
I don't know, but this kid, he is a mountain kid because I'm telling you, he done very well for where he ended up at.
David, rescuers tell me they didn't believe a kid Kenneth's age could even climb to that steep area where he was found, so lucky they even checked there. And David, when rescuers got to him, he had 2 words for them: Mommy, Daddy.
It's understandable. All right, TJ Holmes, we're just glad he is safe and sound. Thank you. President Trump today unveiling his new plan for immigration, saying America will welcome those with, quote, top talent, rather than the current system that he says favors family connections.
Future immigrants will be required to learn English and to pass a civics exam prior to admission.
Applause in the Rose Garden, but on the Hill tonight, both Democrats and Republicans say this plan has little chance of getting through Congress. Next tonight to the ABC News exclusive tonight from the southern border. ABC News on the front lines where a major cartel is taking advantage of impoverished Americans, what they are paying them to do. ABC's Dan Harris is right there on the U.S. border as the bust plays out.
We're in the Arizona desert on a Native American reservation. The man in the mask is an undercover federal agent. That is 200 pounds of marijuana, and this is a sting. The agent is posing as a member of the notorious Sinaloa drug cartel, which has for years exploited the impoverished Native American tribe here, enlisting members in their relentless efforts to smuggle drugs into America. In just a few minutes, we're expecting a tribe member to pull up in a vehicle, and he will load 10 bales of marijuana that are out here in the desert with an undercover ICE agent.
Contraband's being loaded into the sedan.
The smuggler's vehicle then taking off, driving further away from the border and deeper into the United States.
I'm going in, guys. Keep going. They're moving right now.
After trailing the vehicle for several miles, the officers move in, stopping the car, arresting the suspects.
The adrenaline of the chase now gives way to the kind of depressing reality of the people who've been arrested who do not appear to be drug kingpins, more likely that they're just people without a lot of options who've gotten co-opted by one of the most powerful drug cartels on earth.
The reservation of the Tohono O'odham tribe takes up 60 miles of the U.S.-Mexico border. In March alone, the ICE team seized about 30,000 fentanyl pills and other illegal drugs right here. We drive 100 miles south into Mexico, where the supply chain begins. Here, the cartel pays impoverished migrants, like 17-year-old Elmer, to carry drugs over the border and onto the Arizona reservation.
Estoy tratando cruzar el desierto, pero así con droga otra vez, pues, como muchos se tiran aquí de burrero, porque no tengo para pagar coyote.
As one young man waits to commit a crime, back on the reservation, we watch as another young man, an American, is arrested.
Do you want to talk to Grandma before we leave?
Yeah.
Okay. So he has a warrant for his arrest for conspiracy to smuggle narcotics.
And Dan Harris is back in New York tonight after his reporting trip. And Dan, we were talking about this earlier. As long as you have these impoverished communities on the border, don't you run the risk of having folks who are desperate lured in by these cartels?
I mean, that's exactly right. As long as you have this level of poverty paired with America's seemingly insatiable appetite for illegal drugs, it's really hard to see how this problem goes away.
No, this is incredible footage, and I know you're going to have much more coming up tonight, Dan. Thank you. And again, Dan's full report is reporting from the border later tonight on Nightline after Kimmel right here. Dan will be watching. Thanks. We turn next tonight here to newly released surveillance of that missing young woman who went for a hike in Hawaii. Her family in Maryland is desperate tonight for the public's help. And this evening right here, the new surveillance where she was last seen, and we hear from her boyfriend. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman, tonight.
Tonight, new surveillance images showing yoga instructor and avid hiker Amanda Eller just minutes before she vanished more than a week ago. Eller shopping at a local market wearing yoga pants and flip-flops, then driving off in her white SUV.
Aloha from Maui, Hawaii. My name is Amanda Eller.
Her boyfriend, the last person believed to have spoken with her, telling us he directed police to where he thought she might be.
I said, maybe the Makwa Forest. And so they sent out a bunch of patrol cars, and sure enough, someone found her car in the parking lot.
Inside, Eller's wallet and phone. Authorities say they don't consider her boyfriend a suspect.
I had to go to the police station and take a lie detector test, which I passed.
Over 100 volunteers known as Amanda's Angels still searching the area, dense with eucalyptus groves and ravines hundreds of feet deep.
Unfortunately, that situation hadn't changed. It's only getting, more dire at this point.
David, her family believes that Amanda fell during that hike, but that forest is so lush, they simply can't find her through all that foliage. David.
All right, Matt, thank you. To the index of other news and a major change coming to the SATs, the Wall Street Journal tonight reporting the College Board will now include an adversity score, taking into account such factors as crime rates and poverty levels affecting students. The goal, they say, is to give everyone an equal chance. Former President Jimmy Carter is out of the hospital tonight after undergoing surgery for a broken hip. He plans to teach his regular Sunday school class this weekend. Great news. Tonight, your money. Walmart says it is raising some prices, blaming the trade war with China. The company says increased tariffs will lead to increased prices. Walmart did not say which items will go up. A passing note tonight, world-renowned architect I.M. Pei has died, known for so many iconic structures, among them the glass pyramid at the Louvre. I.M. Pei was 102. And NOAA tonight is releasing its summer outlook for the U.S. June, July, and August are expected to be warmer than normal on both coasts. You can see there cooler and wetter conditions from Dallas up through Chicago and Minneapolis. Finally tonight here, America Strong, a mother and daughter meeting 70 years after she was born. Lynn Ray is now 70. She was born in North Carolina in 1948, adopted when she was just a baby. She would grow up, start her own family, but she would always wonder about her biological mother. All these years later, after taking a DNA test, Lynn would get a phone call from a woman named Elizabeth Pullen. It was her mother. She is now 90, and she asked if they could meet. And her 90-year-old mother, it turns out, has a granddaughter who is a photographer, and she had an idea how to capture the moment at Sugar Mill Pond in Youngsville, Louisiana. Daughter Lynn covering her eyes, they bring her over to her mother, where they are soon back to back.
Hey, and I'm so excited.
And Mom could tell something already.
You're taller than Mama. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Lynn asks for her mother's hand.
Give me your hand. There you go.
They wait for their cue.
Okay, turn around. Okay. You look like me, don't you? You are too.
All these years later, and a message from her daughter.
You were wonderful, and I love you. I love you.
They've already spent a week together. They're now planning a family reunion this summer. I'm David Muir. We'll see you tomorrow. Good night.